because many of these Cantina alien masks were then repainted. The originals were repainted for appearances in the holiday special or The Empire Strikes Back. So the idea of preserving something is only a recent innovation, honestly.
And this is one of Ralph's sketches that we think is intended to be the inspiration for Yamno's here. Phil, it's such a Phil design though to look at. Has anybody seen Mad God? It's a stop motion epic that Phil Tippett has been making okay, not enough people. I got one guy. Cool. Look it up if you're into really weird, really dark, disturbing stop motion stuff. But like looking at Yamno's, it's such a Phil thing. It's just all raw umber. And there's Jim Nelson with his pipe and his buck knife, which are apparently famous things. He's also wearing sandals. I don't know if you can see in the picture. We're all about shoes. He seems to be attacking Walrus Man, though, in a terrible, terrible way. The initial shoot, they did an in-camera shot where they did the sort of arm tearing away. It was his left arm in camera.
Yeah, so the camera would have actually followed on set Obi-Wan striking, and the camera would tilt down, and you would see Walrus Man's hand on the ground.
And his hand, though, in the UK were the big flipper hands, not the monster hand that everyone sort of knows and loves. However, his demise was originally intended to be much more gruesome, as you see from what Jim is doing to the poor guy. So Cade is shocked by what's happening here. And there's some, it looks like yogurt coming out of his tusks. He broke his tusks. So this, we actually did, I think it was you that uncovered the footage here of that head insert shot. So we asked, do you want to see the footage? That sounds like they do. Not too bad.
Yeah, there's no sound here, and this was just, go ahead and play it.
Yeah.
This was just a discovery I made in the Luxor Video Archives of what else we would have seen. It would have tilted.
There it is. Yeah. Watch the neck. Yeah.
The camera would have tilted from the severed arm to see the severed head accompanying that action. And so this mask is one of the few Cantina masks that still exists in the archives, and that crack in the tusk is still in it. So I'm not sure if it was actually cracked on purpose or something that broke in transit and decided, oh, let's add yogurt coming out of there. So.
And then this is them working on the close-ups for Greedo. They reshot the Greedo close-ups because they didn't have a mechanized mask for the initial stuff. And Rick Baker's team, Doug Beswick in particular, was tasked with making the mouth open and close, making its antennae turn. And this is kind of a neat thing. That's how long his vest is in the close-up shots here. It's clearly not the same vest he's wearing in the original shoot, but since they shoot him from the waist up, it doesn't really matter. He's also got a Duro's hand, not Greedo's hand. I don't know whether they just didn't like him for the close-up, or if they just weren't shipped over, so they had to make do.
So if you watch the sequence carefully, anytime Harrison Ford is not in frame, Greedo's hands are different.
Yep.
And that is the Greedo played by Maria de Aragon, whereas the Greedo that shares the screen with Harrison Ford is the Greedo played by Paul Blake.
And there's another on the left, another smoking shoe to indicate who's wearing that. Otherwise, I mean, unless Paul Blake just enjoyed a good pump. So this is them preparing for the shoot. Doug Beswick has the mechanisms there for the antennae. George Lucas showing how you hold a gun. The interesting thing is the mouth mechanism that Doug made, which was made with piano wire, it snapped before they went to shoot. And so someone on set came up with the idea of, let's take a clothespin, put it in the person's mouth, and have Maria bite down on the clothespin, and as she bites on it, it'll open the mouth, which is brilliant. And amazingly, we found this photo of George Lucas showing Maria the clothespin and going, you're gonna bite on this. That's gonna look great, just trust me. I'm a director, I know what I'm doing. I assume that's what he said. And this is one of my favorite John Berg stories. So all of the aliens, as they were shooting them, George would always ask for them to get some wetness on them, and they had a little jar of like petroleum jelly, Vaseline. He'd be like, oh, let's put a little of that on their mouths, put a little of that on their gills or whatever. And when it comes time to do Greedo, they're getting set up, and George says, like, wait, we should put some Vaseline on the mouth there. And like, okay, so somebody gets it and they go over and says, wait, can I do it? And John tells us the story, and then we find these two photos in the archives, and there's George. He wanted to do it, and Doug is just like, I'm waiting here. Like I got the... So Doug, yeah.
Real hands-on.
And there's Maria between takes. So this is a shot we had seen for years. This is during dailies, where they were showing, and I mean, look at those couches. This was a high-budget operation. And there was a dog. So in the front row, you got John Berg on the left, Rick Baker next to him, Dennis Murin on the right, Ken Ralston. Is that, that's Dykstra.
Dykstra.
Yeah.
Dykstra back there, yeah.
So we didn't know what they were watching. This is another image that turned up. It actually turns out they were watching the cantina footage when they were shooting this. So it got added to our presentation. This is some old scrapbook stuff that Rick had. These are old, like, don't call the number, I don't think it's him anymore. But this was like his flyer he made for himself. And you can see Future Man in there on the top right and the bottom left. We saw that shot of him with the Wolfman earlier. There's Terminal Man on his workbench. These are some of Rick's shelves in his offices in the late 70s. A lot of cantina content there. Wolf Guy on the top shelf, Bat Demon Guy, Devil Guy in the middle, the It's Alive Baby and Terminal Man on the bottom. Top right, Brain Guy, Future Man, his E-Bith, Y-Bith from the holiday special in the middle, top right picture.
Basically, Rick took the starting point out of the Cantina alien and basically dressed it up, changed it into another alien, with the thought of maybe selling it as sort of a tribute mask, you know?
He was actually going to use it for a calendar.
That's right, yeah.
So he sculpted, it was one new hem that he modified it like 3 or 4 times. He was going to do a calendar, like, not calendar, I'm sorry, a poster. Yes. He was going to do a poster of aliens.
Not necessarily Star Wars, just aliens.
Right.
That never happened, and that mask ended up in the holiday special. At least it was on set, but it's not visible in picture.
And there's the different variations that he made. Those are at Bob Burns' place. The one on the left in Bob's pick on the right side is the guy from the holiday special with a little amped up paint, because these things weren't precious. This is some of my favorite stuff. This is a 3D painting that Rick Baker did a few years back when he was learning a program called ZBrush. And he did paintings of all of his aliens. And he, as usual, he made them a little more evil or a little gross. I love the wet look on him there. Love the Bat Demon Guy. This is my favorite of all of them. Like the translucency in that skin is just beautiful.
Yeah, which is something you really couldn't have pulled off with the time and the money that was allocated for the original.
Nowadays, you could do a silicone pullover of this and get that translucency. But his take on this character this is not the exact mask. It's really, really cool. More recently, Rick dug out his old molds though, and on Instagram, follow him, the Rick Baker. Tell him I sent you. He pulled out the old molds and he started doing copies of some of them. So he did his Wolfman, he did a copy of the Brain Guy, there's his Future Man, and he ultimately did a new sculpt of Terminal Man because he didn't have the mold for it, but he wanted one. So he sculpted a new one, and it's amazing because he's Rick Baker. But the paint job on this one is just amazing. He took a clear coat over the whole thing, and in the clear coat he put red fibers from torn up yarn to give it that extra little vessels. There's Rick with makeup artist Norman Cabrera, a friend of mine, and some of his new stuff, which is just super cool that he's still doing that. So, this is not from the original shoot, but we are going to go quickly through the Richard Pryor show. We've just got a handful of slides left. So has anybody seen the Richard Pryor show episode that has the Star Wars characters in it? All right, not a lot. Go home and find it. You will thank us later. So he had an HBO show at the time. Yeah. One of the first episodes, he had a Star Wars bar scene, and you had Snaggletooth in there. You had, I think that was Yamnose in the background. You had the Brain. You had a Duros. They were having an argument about Garbic and Hank Aaron and who could hit better. Yeah, and he was like, well, Garbic had a laser bat. And there was a drunken bad guy bumping into him. There was some stuff that wouldn't show up in Star Wars.
This was pre-shipping, So there's a whole bunch of relationships that we had no idea.
Right. Don Rickles. And there was also a creature fabricated for it by the show that was this big octopus creature. And there was only one thing that can save you from a big octopus creature. Does anyone know what that could be?
Muff tack with pants.
It's muff tack in pants. Because when you're being attacked by a big creature, you need muff tack, but he needs pants. The reason he needs pants is because muff tack was only ever built from the waist up. And they wanted to use him as the bouncer, so they put pants on him.
Suspenders.
Exactly, and there's a photo in the Star Wars Chronicles of Muff Tack with suspenders on, and for years we had no idea why this was until we figured out it was from the Richard Pryor show. And there he is, and that's what you got. And yeah, so there he is. He has a big fight with the squid alien and a squid monster, and that's it. We have one other short video, and I do have a giveaway, which I'll talk about right now. So I got to work on this really cool Aliens and Monsters book. It's normally $30. We got it for $20 down at my booth 1031, and you can come for the next few hours. But I am going to give away a copy and a t-shirt shortly after this important safety message, so please pay attention to the screen. I have no audio. Nope, oh, they never plugged in our audio. All right, well, it's playing the Cantina song, and it's saying, even in a, oh yeah, well, it's too late now. Even in a galaxy far, far away, friends don't let friends drive drunk. Thank you very much. So, we're going to do a giveaway. I'm going to just ask you to raise your hand really quickly, like whoever, well, hold on, I'm going to ask a question. What is the best crew name ever? So, all right, that guy had his hand up first.
Spider-Man.
Not what I was looking for.
Don Rickles.
There you go, all right. Sorry, Spider-Man. There you go, thank you. Wait, hold on, you got a t-shirt and a bag. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'm at booth 1031 for the next few hours. You can come down and see me, maybe grab a book, or just say hello.
Bye, everyone.